Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ask the Expert webinar, How Can SAS Viya Copilot Help Me Build Better Models? My name is Alice Yuan, and I will serve as your moderator for today's event. Now, I would like to take a moment to introduce our presenters. Thomas Wildman is the product owner for SAS Viya Model Studio. He leads product vision and strategy for the platform's machine learning capabilities, focusing on delivering scalable, enterprise-ready AI through cloud-native analytics, model lifecycle management, and ML ops. Next, we have Peyton Kucha, who is a senior product marketing manager for AI and advanced analytics at SAS, dedicated to bringing the most powerful tools available to the people who use them to change the world. He earned his bachelor's in marketing from Louisiana State University and an MBA from the University of Tennessee, with a focus in marketing analytics. And finally, we have Sean Meelan, who is a senior product manager here at SAS. He leads strategy and roadmap development for machine learning algorithms, computer vision, deep learning, and code generation products. With a background as a software developer, he brings over 15 years of experience in bridging technical R&D and customer-facing solutions. Sean, please take it away.
Thanks. I'll be taking it away. Oh, yep, sorry. I'll be taking it away from here. Thank you, Alice. We're so excited to have you, and I'm so excited to be joined by my esteemed colleagues from our product team. As Alice mentioned, my name is Peyton Kucha. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Advanced Analytics and AI, focusing on SAS Viya Copilot. And today we're really excited to show you how you can generate code and build better models with the tool. So the question we have today is, how can our users access SAS Viya Copilot today? For many of you, SAS Viya Copilot's a new tool. And for some of you, it may not have already been turned on, but the thing is, it is new, it is interesting, and it's one of our highlighted capabilities that we're bringing into the next few years as we start to expand into agentic. But the first thing I'm going to ask my colleagues today is, how can our users get access to SAS Viya Copilot today? What kind of processes would they have to go through to be able to gain access to this kind of tool?
So I'll jump in and handle that. So SAS Viya Copilot is included in SAS Viya versions 2026.12 and later. It is an opt-in process, and there is SAS documentation that will walk you through enabling the feature. But it is worth highlighting that it is included in the box with those features. This is not an additional product. It is included with every SAS Viya license.
That's amazing to hear that it's already built into the experience that our customers already know and love. So with that, it is clear that you do need to be able to go in and turn it on. You can work with your SAS administrators to do so. And once it is turned on, you'll gain access to all the amazing features that we're going to be able to show you today. It is free, and you already have it most likely. You just need to have the ability to access these capabilities inside of SAS Viya. So that being said, we're going to move forward into the meat of the questions. So what can our customers expect from SAS Viya Copilot? What do you think is going to be the things that stand out about their experience, and what are you most excited to see coming out of this?
So for code assistance, I'm particularly excited about the opportunity for folks to start using natural language to prompt the Copilot to write code for them. So having it take normal English, turn it into code for you, and then maybe also do some tool discovery. If you're not familiar with a particular SAS procedure, Copilot has those expertise and can help you out and show you maybe something new.
It's very similar on the Model Studio side. What excites me is that we've brought conversational AI directly into the model building workflow. So instead of navigating menus and configuring nodes manually, you can just tell Copilot what you want to accomplish, and it's going to orchestrate that for you inside of Model Studio. But what really sets it apart is that it's not a black box. Everything that Copilot does is visible within the pipeline UI that we used in Model Studio. You can see every node that's added. You can inspect the configurations of those nodes, modify them if you want, and rerun. And so you're getting the speed of AI assistance with the transparency and the control that data professionals need.
That's amazing to hear. So for me, it sounds like we're just taking something that was already made easy and making it easier. and something that was already transparent, and even driving that transparency further home with no black box and a highly powerful AI tool that can essentially explain everything that's going on inside your system. That really resonates with the message that SAS has been delivering of trust and productivity. So that brings me to our next question. As you see that third bullet here, that human in the loop execution, that brings me to another point is, how is SAS prioritizing human in the loop? It's an important part of our experience as people using AI to ensure that there is that level of human intervention and that level of engagement at a technical level, so that AI is not just running off and doing everything on its own. So what are your guys' opinions and positions on that? How do you think SAS is really meeting people in the middle there with SAS Viya Copilot?
So for human in the loop, we kind of meet that requirement by SAS Copilot for Code Assistance generates the code right in front of you, because many of our customers do work in highly regulated or restricted industries, and you need to make sure that the code follows your quality standards, your procedures. And so we want to make sure that Copilot enables you to still follow those procedures, but also make things easier for you.
Human in the loop is one of the big design considerations for us. And with SAS Viya, the human is always in control. Copilot is built directly into the UI, so you can see exactly what it's doing at every step. If it configures a node, changes a setting, or builds part of a pipeline, those changes appear in the interface the same way they would if you had made them yourself. And so nothing is hidden or obstructed away. You can open any node, inspect it, and put it into your workflow. It is working with the same tools and configuration options that are available to you directly.
That's amazing to hear. And I mean, it's really important that we maintain the humanity in the technology. And I think bringing that humanity forward is a major part of SAS's position as we start to navigate the AI journey. And part of the human experience is, of course, experiencing challenges. And we especially want to highlight and get an understanding for what are the challenges that we're helping solve with SAS Viya Copilot? What are the things that our viewers here today are seeing every day that SAS Viya Copilot is helping close the gaps on for their business?
So with AI prevalent in pretty much everything nowadays, I think there's a much higher expectation for people to be productive. And so being able to use Copilot to enhance your productivity while still keeping you in control is crucial.
I think there are two things here. One is SAS Viya's integration with world-class code. So for 50 years, SAS has been building data science specific code that operates well within its environments. And the other piece is that that workflow is transparent to the user. And Copilot brings you that transparency, and it lets you take advantage of that world-class code all within that UI.
That's amazing to hear. And I think these are things that a lot of our viewers today can relate to, especially as we navigate all the changes with AI, all the things that are growing at light speed. These are kind of universal experiences that a lot of people are seeing. So ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're bringing to you and what we're about to show you guys is an awesome tool for helping build model pipelines and generating code. But what I want to ask you guys is, what are the things that make it different? How does it separate itself from the other code generation tools that a lot of our compatriots are using?
So SAS Copilot Code Assistance is built on a custom model that we have trained using direct knowledge of the SAS procedures. What that means in practice is our internal benchmarks show that we can generate more accurate or better code about 40% of the time better than commercial LLM offerings like OpenAI.
That's amazing to hear. And Tom?
Sorry about that. How does Copilot compared to other code generation tools and model development tools. Again, we provide you that same capability to leverage world-class code, to use the Model Studio UI that we use that enables you to build machine learning pipelines, all with the trust that we've built in those systems.
Yeah, no, it's a really great tool that we've already, like I said before, taking something that's already been made easy and making it easier and driving that system home. It's really not matched in the industry by anyone today. So ultimately, we've talked a lot about what SAS Viya Copilot's going to do for you. We've talked about your experiences that you guys have had with AI. And now moving forward, we're going to show you a little bit of the proof in the pudding. So ultimately, we're about to start showing you some of the demos that we have for you today, starting with our SAS Viya Copilot for code assistance. So a video is about to pop up, and Sean Meelan is going to give you an amazing little presentation.
All right, thanks, Ben. So let's take a look at Visual Studio Code, because that's where we surface Copilot. In Visual Studio Code, you can, I'm sorry, I'm having an issue here. All right, sorry. So we're going to look at the first 10 rows of a data set. And so the way we're going to do this is write a comment with natural language, select it, and then go ahead and click that Generate Code button, or pull up the palette and do that. And we're going to wait for it to generate. And then once you have it, since you are connected to your SAS Viya instance, you can run it with the F3 command, and you have your results on the right. I'm going to go ahead and close the results and delete the code just to keep things simple. Let's do something a bit more descriptive now. So I'm going to ask it to show some statistical descriptors, excuse me. Once again, I'm going to use the command palette because I prefer using the keyboard instead of the mouse. And there's the code, and we're going to generate it, or ask it to run on SAS Viya. And our results are here on the right. And it gives you a nice graph and all your descriptors. All right, so let's try a modeling task next. We're going to do a logistic regression. And once again, we're going to highlight and click the Generate Code button. And then once it's generated, we're going to go ahead and run it. And there you go. All right, let's use something slightly different here. So I'm going to ask it to generate some code using a random forest model. All right. And so let's say we don't understand all the options here. So we're going to use another feature of Copilot, which is the commenting feature. So we're going to highlight all of our code and either click that comment button or use the command palette. And we have our comments on our code. So you can start to understand the options that it's used, maybe explore something you didn't know. And then we're going to go ahead and run this just to see our results. And there we go. Let's go ahead and show the last feature. I'm going to go ahead and put in some SAS code that I have lying around, which is a little bit more complicated than what we've been looking at. And so instead of going line by line, let's go ahead and ask it to explain all of this to us. So I'm going to highlight everything, ask it to explain. It's going to send off the code to the LLM. The LLM is going to take a look at not only our code, but some of the metadata around our data set. and then it's going to start piecing together what it does and generate a description of the code. And it's going to take a second, but over here on the left of the screen, once it comes back, it will give you a nice explanation. And so it goes into detail here down the left-hand side. At the very bottom, there is a summary of what the code does, and we are going to tweak this to do that a little bit, make that a bit more prevalent. All right, and I'll go ahead and turn it back to Payne.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sean. That was an amazing presentation of our code generation capabilities. And I'm excited to see how that grows and expands as we pursue Copilot down the line and as we see it grow this year. I hear there's some amazing presentations going on at SAS Innovate highlighting some of those advances. But
Absolutely.
Before we jump into those kind of conversations, we still have a little bit more to show you. We have SAS Viya Copilot for model pipeline development with Thomas. And with that, I'm going to pass it to you, Tom.
Thanks, Peyton. So let's see when the video comes up.
SAS Viya Copilot for Model Studio is an intelligent assistant designed to help you build machine learning models, dynamically generate pipelines, explain and interpret results, improve models, and answer questions about both machine learning and SAS visual machine learning concepts. In this example, we're going to be creating a model to try and predict whether customers applying for a loan are likely to default on it. So to start, you access Viya Copilot by clicking the Copilot icon in the top right corner. This brings up a chat window where we can simply describe what we want. So instead of manually dragging and dropping nodes or writing code from scratch, I can ask Copilot to do it. When you already have a node selected and you open Copilot, it will give you some ideas on what you can do. We're going to ask it to suggest the next node for us. Copilot immediately goes to work. Behind the scenes, it leverages SAS's generative AI platform to interpret my request and translate it into analytic actions. This means it's figuring out the best way to prepare the data and which machine learning algorithms might be suitable, all based on my high-level instruction. Depending on what's in your pipeline, SAS Viya Copilot is going to come up with different suggestions. For this, Copilot has recommended we go straight to modeling or add a replacement node. It has also suggested an exploratory process we can run instead to build a more robust pipeline. Let's select that and see what pipeline architectures Copilot recommends. When you run an exploratory process, Copilot will try multiple combinations of models, settings, and pipelines. It gives updates along the way as it makes improvements, showing how your fit statistic changes. In this case, we're looking at the KS statistic. The higher the number, the better the model is at discriminating between whether the loan will default or not. This process will run for 2 minutes, and you can stop it at any time. Once it completes, you can choose one of the options that it found. We'll choose the best option, which is a pipeline with an imputation node and a gradient boosting node. Copilot automatically adds both of them for us. After the nodes are added, Copilot tells us the optimal settings it chose for the gradient boosting model and gives us a brief explanation of each setting. Let's go ahead and tell it to run the node. In a matter of seconds, through a single request, we have a complete initial pipeline, from data prep to modeling, all set up by Copilot. This would normally take much longer if done manually, but our AI assistants handled the heavy lifting almost instantly. We can view the results of the model by right-clicking the node and selecting Results in the context menu. There's a lot of important information here, and we like to have Copilot explain it to us. We're going to ask it to do that. Copilot collects the information from the model results and provides a summary of its findings. It gives us information like a high-level overview of gradient boosting, analysis of key findings, most important model features, a ROC report, fit statistics, how to interpret them, and an overall assessment of the model. In this case, we can see that the gradient boosting model did very well, but it could potentially suffer from overfitting, and additional tuning may be needed. We'll go ahead and add a simpler challenger model. We're going to ask Copilot to add a logistic regression node after the imputation node and then run it. What we see here is Copilot supports chaining multiple actions at once, allowing you to efficiently build your pipeline. Since this is a default logistic regression model, we're going to ask Copilot to improve it. This will start an improvement process that tries various combinations of model settings and hyperparameters to improve its performance. This will run for 2 minutes and can be stopped at any time. Copilot will summarize the overall improvement to the fit statistic and what settings were needed to achieve it. We'll go ahead and apply these improvements. We now have 2 models available, a gradient boosting model and a logistic regression model. A novice data scientist may want to know the difference between the two and when you might want to apply one over the other. So we'll ask Copilot what the difference is between them. Copilot comes back with a description of each model type, its strengths, and use cases. In addition, it gives us links to SAS documentation that we can follow to dig further into the results. These links also show us where Copilot retrieved its information. If you have questions about machine learning concepts or Model Studio, Copilot's here to help. Finally, we're going to ask Copilot to run model comparison to determine which is the best model. Once that completes, we'll go to the Insights tab to learn more about the final champion model. Since we're happy with our model, we'll go ahead and go to the Pipeline Comparison tab to register our model into Model Manager, where it can be used by AI agents that support loan applications.
Thank you for sharing that, Thomas. That was an incredibly impressive explanation and great overview of what SAS Viya Copilot can do. And we're super excited to highlight these capabilities. And before we move on into the next session, I just want to kind of ask Thomas and Sean to just, highlight. So we've highlighted a few things. So we've seen a lot of amazing things today, but SAS Viya Copilot is an ever-moving, ever-growing target for us, something that is constantly going to be expanding. What do you guys see in the future that's going to be really exciting for our customers? Without spoiling too much of what we're going to be talking about at Innovate, what are you guys really excited to see coming from Copilot as we start to expand our capabilities?
Yeah, so for Code Assistant, we are looking at taking it to the next level by introducing an agentic mode. So being able to use a natural language prompt, not just to help do procedures, but maybe complete entire tasks for you. Come see my SAS Innovate topic to learn more about it.
That's incredibly exciting. I'm sure that a lot of people will be excited, and whoever does win that 50% off certificate for SAS Innovate should definitely take that and mark that as a part of their day. And Tom, how are you feeling?
For Model Studio, it's some of those same agentic capabilities, increasing the functionality of Copilot to work with different existing features within Model Studio, and building that out so that it matches what Model Studio can do one-to-one.
Absolutely. That's going to be amazing. And for those of you, like I said, attending Innovate, make sure you take time to come see us at our booth and in our presentations. That being said, a lot of people in the Q&A have been asking about our relationship with Microsoft and what exactly Copilot means between SAS and our organization. So one thing I want to help kind of answer on the front end is just talking about the parallels between our organization's AI journeys, our responsible AI principles, and our relationship as we develop SAS Viya Copilot together. SAS's AI principles on the left and Microsoft's AI principles on the right have a lot of spaces where they cross over and really blend in with each other. So we found them to be our perfect partner for developing SAS Viya Copilot. SAS Viya Copilot is built upon the Microsoft Copilot Foundation as an LLM. Many of you guys have been asking. That is our partnership. We have used them and understood that they have an incredibly reliable technology, and we've optimized that technology to be able to understand SAS code and ultimately develop it in the best way possible. In our grand scheme of things, we do allow in our total view of generative AI technology a variety of LLMs, but when it comes to SAS Viya Copilot, Microsoft's Copilot model is our foundation. But that is with a lot of intention. That is with a lot of thought and preparation going into that it is one of the best models that we can use for our brand to be able to give you quality of results. So with that, I want to thank my esteemed partners and teammates from my product team, and thank everyone for attending and open up the field for questions. So we've got a few solid questions in the inbox so far. Please feel free to ask any more or submit any more as they come to you. But with our first question, and that would come down to Paul McDonald saying, with all the volume of white papers across user groups from a local level, that produces a sizable amount of training data. Can we talk to a little bit about how we trained SAS Viya Copilot and what kind of data we used?
Sure. So a large amount of our training data is SAS documentation, but we've also had development teams inside SAS help submit dedicated training data from kind of procedure experts. So the SAS procs, since they can get complicated with the number of options they support, we've had the developers of those procedures augment our training data so that we can make sure that we have the most complete data set. And also, as they add options, that we keep the SAS Copilot up to date on what the new procs can actually do. And that's going to be another differentiator between SAS Copilot and the commercial offerings, is that we always stay up to date with the latest options.
Amazing to hear. One of our other questions is, and I think this is more relevant to you, Sean, as well, is can Copilot be used to iteratively develop code in a more interactive format? I often use AI to iteratively build longer pieces of code. I don't need to figure out how to analyze data, which, yeah. So they're asking about iteration. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Sure. So right now we have, as I showed, the comments, so being able to generate from comments. But as a kind of sneak peek for you guys, we are introducing more chat capabilities. So being able to interrogate the LLM exactly about the code that's being generated or make suggestions and have it alter the code for you is something that's coming out in the future.
I would just add that iterative development capability exists within Model Studio as well. You can use Copilot to help you develop potential model pipelines, interpret results, and then update configurations as necessary.
All right, amazing. And so moving on, and this is another question that I think I can answer. It's, do we have Viya Copilot for SAS? I believe it is Model Risk Management. And that being said, so we are offering a variety of SAS Viya Copilots for our solutions. And I can confirm that there are model and risk management Copilot capabilities on our pipeline. I cannot confirm at any timing at this point, but I will say that is a priority for us as we start to expand Copilot's capabilities. It will not just be in platform, they will be in a majority of our solutions, ranging from our retail. We've just celebrated the announcement of our clinical data and our asset liability management Copilot tools. So you will see more tools like that popping up throughout the year and as we announce them. So that is something exciting that we're looking forward to, so that SAS Viya Copilot is not just limited to your SAS Viya experience, but also inside of our solutions associated. And lastly, it says once you register a model, say gradient boosting, will the same model be useful for different loan applications? Each case might be different, with some of them having issues with data quality or different parameters. Thomas, could you expound upon that?
Would the same model be useful for a different loan application? I think best practice would be to train a new model for a new type of loan application. And I'm assuming in that instance that your loan that you're talking about two different styles or inputs of loan application. And in that instance, I would recommend training a new model with data specific to that that style of input. But if we are talking about using a trained model to predict on a like loan application, then in theory, yes, you could use that same model to make a prediction on that.
Okay, that's good to know. And I have another one from Shelby asking, how does the LLM keep our data secure?
That is an excellent question. So we are very privacy conscious here at SAS. When you submit your code to the LLM, it goes up to the LLM using secure data channels, obviously encryption. It is only parsed by the LLM. There's no logging involved, and there is no history. So once it's been processed by the LLM and the results have been returned, then it is gone. So your data is kept secure at all times from both SAS employees and externally.
Okay. Yeah, I bet it's amazing to hear for our folks worried about security. Go on, Thomas. Sorry.
I was just going to add, we also implement tenant isolation and access controls to, even within the same tenant, your prompts are specific to you.
Amazing. So let me see. The next question we have is, can organizations tune Copilot to align with internal modeling standards or approved pipeline templates? What about in-house developed SAS macro library or proc FCMP functions called routines?
Ooh, another great question. So right now it is a bit generic in the fact that it does tend to just follow kind of procedure best practices. But in the future, we are looking to allow you to, or will allow you to be able to specify internal code libraries and procedures for default. But since that is still in works, I'm unfortunately unable to tell too much more about it. But keep an eye on SAS Innovate.
Very exciting. Hey, and by the end of this, I'm sure our viewers are going to be really excited to hear about what's coming on and see what's going on at SAS Innovate. So our next question is, can SAS Viya be used in a similar way to other LLM tools to make SAS Viya Copilot build more pipeline and make them compete, them and creating a full report with a single prompt instead of guiding them through simpler prompts referring to each step in this process? So I think it's talking about multi-step processes and building those in either with our code system or with our model pipeline development. Let me know if you guys interpreted that differently.
Yeah, no, so for our code assistant, right now we are, the current publicly released version of Copilot does focus on that individual step. So what roughly corresponds to a single procedure call or two. But the next agentic version will definitely be that multi-step single prompt execution that will allow you to generate multiple procedures, multiple data steps, and then give you a chance to review it before executing.
Okay, that's amazing to hear that that's a part of our journey, and that's something that we can be expecting in the relatively near future. And then I think this is our last question. Just let me confirm after that, but I'll ask it right away. How are we handling model distillation in SAS Viya Copilot? Oh, we have one more. But yeah, so how are we handling model distillation in SAS Viya Copilot today? Sean, Thomas, how are you feeling about that?
So model distillation is a topic that we are slowly expanding on. Right now, I don't believe that there is, well, at least for code assistants, there's no easy way to do model distillation because we do not right now give you the ability to custom train a model. But that's something that we are actively pushing forward with right now.
Okay.
Same extends to Model Studio.
All right, that's very good. I'm glad to hear these things are coming soon. Our last question, I believe, for the evening. If anyone else has any more, please feel free to put them in. But we're working our way down to the last couple. What are the Copilot features integrated in Jump Pro, if any?
Unfortunately, Jump Pro is not something that I get a lot of exposure to given my position. So I don't think I am the best person for that.
Yeah, and I think I can speak for the team here. Our main focus here is generally SAS Viya. Our visibility into the Jump organization is slightly more limited in the sense that we focus on our products mainly on the SAS side of the house. Our organizations are connected, but that level of interaction does not happen on a ground level. And then the question we have now is, will this be rolled out for 9.4 or maybe 9.5, a non-Viya release or Jump?
Great question. All I can say right now is our focus is on Viya, and our strategy moving forward with Copilot for 9.4 is unfortunately not something that we have announced publicly. At least as far as I'm aware. Peyton, feel free, since you have a little bit more.
Announced any plans publicly, but there are things that could happen. These are, a possibility in the future, but we cannot confirm or deny anything in this webinar at this point. And then lastly, we have a question about our booths at Innovate. So what are our booths going to be called at Innovate? Where can they be able to find us when they're here on the floor? They've already heard our sessions where they can go see us talk more about SAS Viya Copilot, but where can they come to talk to us and see a little bit more of our personalities?
So you'll be able to find me at the Computer Vision and Natural Language Processing booth. Part of my duties at SAS extend into the computer vision and deep learning realm. And so I'll be helping man that booth, even though we do have a dedicated Copilot booth. Payne, you're going to be around that booth, aren't you?
That is exactly right. I was just about to say that is where you will be able to find me. And I believe you'll be able to find our friend Thomas at the machine learning booth as well. So we will be spread out, but you will be able to talk to any individual one of us, and we'll be able to help you find anyone you need while we're there. I've got some great experts on my team who are going to be there announcing some of the latest announced Copilot capabilities that are going to be coming out closer to Innovate. So keep an ear to the ground for those coming down the line. We've got some really exciting news coming on your way. And ultimately, we're going to see SAS Viya Copilot expand across the entire data and AI lifecycle. We've already got product Q&A and documentation Q&A up in a majority of our products. But more of those capabilities, like you've seen today, where you can take real action, are coming very, very soon. So keep your ears open. And we're so thankful that you took the time to sit with us today and learn about our product. We really appreciate you and look forward to seeing you again as we do more of these in the near future.
Thank you, Sean, Peyton, and Thomas for that wonderful Q&A. If we did not get to your question today, please don't worry. We will answer all unanswered questions in our follow-up communities post. So thank you again for your answers, and thank you all of you for joining us. On behalf of myself, Peyton, Sean, Thomas, and all of SAS, we really hope that you enjoyed today's webinar. So thank you all, and have a great rest of your day.